Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of UpFront with myself, Sis, and my friend Mainstream Main. Today we have an amazing man, Lusolotja, that I met. First time I met you was Extension 3.
How?
Yeah.
Let the port.
No, at your place. Where
Really?
you used to
Oh.
stay. Back, I think I was there with Lucian and Qibo.
Ah.
And that's when I got to meet you and Nasanzis.
People have been in the game clearly.
So now, today we have a man who goes by the popular name. He will explain for himself. Lusolotja Ginindza.
Lombo.
If you have been paying attention to the entertainment and arts ecosystem in the country over the last decade or two, you already know who he is. If I'm not mistaken, I stand corrected. Back in the day, Swazi TV.
Yeah.
And that experience led to, he's also one of the men who were behind the scenes in the creation of the popping Ekhaya series. Am I wrong? Am I right? Please correct me.
Yes, I was an associate producer.
An associate producer, my man.
Still.
So today we have greatness in the house, but then we will not we will not be talking about art or anything. Today's subject is a little bit. Hello, my man. I was listening to the new podcast. Some other guy, Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan Experience, and he was saying he is definitely making more stoner content. I think in that episode, I forgot who was there, but they were having joints. And the best episode of his I'd ever listened to. It was amazing. It was
Now
amazing.
he tells
We
us.
should have made it a culture.
So
For the culture.
Lusolotja is a part of a company called Umjono. Umjono. Yeah. But he's going to explain and further introduce himself. Baba Ginindza, both.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Big C's.
Pleasure.
Eliminate the big.
Eliminate the.
I've lost weight.
Ah.
And I know you always correct people on
Not
that.
big with Gaba.
I take it. Initially, it was about my being fat.
Please.
Because
That was a
So we're putting it back on, sis.
No, we're putting it back on. If
Done.
that's the case,
No. Thanks to Scab. So thank you very much for having me. Mainstream called me. She's like, hey, we've got this thing going on. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, if she's calling me, then it must be something good. So here I am. I cannot say no when the lady says, what's up? Yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm 100%, mommy.
I cool, no problem.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we should get right to it. Jono, right?
Yeah.
I would not think that people are actually familiar with the company itself, understand? So how does it start about? And not necessarily controversial, but it is hemp, if not weed-based products that you guys have. So please just take us through as to how the company comes about and jono because
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Jono is actually it's very difficult for me to try and break it down, but I'll try. Jono is kind of like an old company. We've been around for, I think, close to 20 years now. But for the main, we're just behind the scenes. So we went through various stages. We started as lobbyists, just meeting a few influential people in the country to speak about weed.
Okay.
Our initial interest was on hemp. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. So hemp is a cousin. I'll say it's a cousin of marijuana as we know it.
Okay.
But the thing about hemp is that you can't smoke it. It's very low on THC, very high on CBD. All right. So these are cannabinoids. So what it is that the weed plant has certain things called cannabinoids in them, right? And the thing that makes you high is THC, tetrahydrocannabinoid, and then the CBD, cannabinoidal, you know. So anyway, Hemp, you can do a lot of things with hemp. It is known to have 50,000 uses, official known uses. So I'll just count.
That's a large number.
That's a large number. So for benefit of the people that are driving or doing whatever at home, let me just list, you'll stop me, say like 5.
Okay.
So with hemp, you can make clothes, right? Levi Strauss did the first pair of Levi jeans was actually made of hemp.
Wow.
So the guy had a problem because once you, actually they were using them for mining. So you can imagine
the strong,
how strong it is. You can use it for sails in boats. You can use it as an anchor.
Are you serious?
Because if you use metal, then the ocean will chow that thing up. But it can't chow hemp material because it's so versatile, so strong.
Wow.
A hangman's noose. You can make biocomposites with it. Most of these like top of the range cars like your S-Class or your 7 Series or your Bugatti or your whatever, for the interior they use hemp because it's light and also very durable as well. So, and you can just play around with it.
Okay.
So you can have food out of it. You can build a house. I can go on and you can make fuel out of it as well.
Pretty versatile.
It's the way to go.
Wow.
So what I understand about hemp is that it's the female, like you said, it's the male, it's the female part.
Yeah, no. Just to, so that people will understand, would say, because if you're growing weed, you're going to have 2 types. You're going to have a male and a female.
Yeah.
So if you're growing weed for smoking, you want to kill the male because it's going to cross-pollinate the females. And then you're just going to have the females. Whereas with hemp, it's just, it's pretty much the male. However, the thing about hemp is actually the growing protocol, right? By growing protocol, I'd say in a square meter, you'd have plants, you'd have anything between 150 to 200 plants per square meter. The reason why you're having so many plants per square meter is because you want your plants to grow tall.
Okay.
All right. So basically, your plants are going to compete for sunlight, and as they're competing for sunlight, automatically they kill the weeds underneath. So if you're growing hemp, you eliminate weeds in your plantation. It's kind of like automatic.
Yeah.
And then the roots go deep, so it's good for your soil as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot of things. So we started as a hemp company, and then we moved towards, we had an interest in medicinal cannabis.
Okay.
Apart from the fact that, I'm sorry if there are any children or any Christians in the house, we are a weed smoking nation.
Yes.
As a Maswat.
Put a pin on that.
In the region, we are. There are other countries that have their own strains, but we're known for our strain. You know, the white people called it the Swazi Gold. Yeah.
Now let's step into the history.
Yes, please.
Let's step into the history. You are saying Swazi Gold.
Yeah.
How? I understand that its significance. The reason behind the name is we were the only ones in history who grew that strain specifically, right?
For a long time.
Let me shabba you.
Shabba me.
So basically, the thing about weed is like this. You've got 3 different types of weed, all right? The first type is what is known as a land race, all right? What that means is that that particular weed grows in that area naturally, all right? Okay. So you've got a strain that grows in a place called at the time Swaziland, all right? And it just grew, no one planted, it just grew here naturally. Okay. So white people called it the Swazi Gold because of its attributes. It once it reaches maturity, the buds become a bit brown. Yeah. It's called a Swazi Gold or Swazi Red because of the hair in the thing in the actual bud, right? So for instance, you've got Swazi Gold. You've got what they call Durban poison. You've got something that is found in that area in Pakistan, right? There's an area between Pakistan India and Afghanistan.
Yeah,
It's called
I've heard of
the
it.
Hindu Kush region. So you have the strain called the Kush.
Okay,
That's really where Kush comes from.
What's popular in America?
Yeah. So now,
So that's where it comes from.
yeah. So now everybody
Okay.
will say, "Oh, I've got some Kush."
No,
Akusiyo
there's a
Kush.
specific way.
Yeah, every
There's a
Kush, it has to
specific.
come from. Yeah.
No, that region.
It has to come from that area. So we've got a lot of these indigenous strains, all right? But then with evolution, you find that, there's someone who's coming from, like I said, maybe there's someone who's coming from India, utene kush yake, and then it's going to cross-pollinate somehow with our Swazi gold or this or that. So I said the first strain is a land race, and then you've got strains that they've been genetically modified.
Okay.
You've got your skunk, your what, because some people
orange.
then went on to just create their own strains. There's people that work with that. Like, okay, I'll make a strain. I'll call it mainstream
fascination.
or what, breeders, pretty much. And then the last group is something that was known as heirlooms. You find that, my grandfather used to have some sort of seeds, left them for me, and now I'm planting these seeds and something comes out. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty good. I don't know what to call it, so it's an heirloom because my old person left it for me.
Okay, because you don't have any attachment to where it came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the thing. So we've got our own strain. That's how it happens. I mean, if you go to Joe's or something, if they hear that you're from Swaziland, the first thing that they'll ask, apart from Sibebe, they'll say, how's that joint, brother?
We want that stuff.
How is that joint?
We want that stuff. And you actually mentioned something which was important because I'm still trying to get back to the history part of it.
Yeah.
You said we have been a nation that has been using it. Understand?
Oh, yes.
The culture is within.
The culture is within us. So, like I said, this thing has been around since day one. So we've got, to us, it's not just, let's
it's
rock a
nothing
joint.
new.
Let's rock a joint and get high. It also has, apart from having medicinal properties, it also has spiritual properties as well.
Oh, here we go.
There's certain families in this country, when they have someone has died, they're going to say, hey, go see, here's some meat, here's some beer, and here's some weed. So that when you get to this place, it's traditional. We've been doing it for hundreds of years, because it's like a sacrament. If you are going out on a war mission, we have to smoke, because Gitsi, it makes us connect with our ancestors.
Okay.
So in a typical Siswati home, every day, I learned early that if, for instance, I've got a son, he is 11 years old. So, if I was an ancient man, he would be smoking by now because he would have to light up my habli for me in the morning. So when I go to have my habli in the morning, I find that already it's going.
And it's already been.
It's he's been revving it.
I think
and I just hit it.
To clarify that we're not talking about Habli, White Cloud.
Yeah, no.
Not that habli. So
this is traditional. Your horn. There's a certain way.
There's a certain way. You've got a reed. You've got some other contraption down there. It's like a habli, but Swazi style.
I think there are some images. I'm not sure.
I'll hook you up. So hopefully, right now, you're cutting away with it. So yeah, definitely some
there
images.
are some images within the country and Konalamba Bani, right? I think
Apex
Ngugupi.
House, you've seen it.
Yes,
Apex House,
right.
yeah.
It's literally just a hallway of images, and you see
old images,
all black and white. Understand? And traditionally, this is
I
this is the
like the
stage.
caption of that particular
The one
image.
that you know.
It's written. Yeah, I know it. It says Swazi smoking weed before it was declared illegal by the British.
When was it declared and why? Thank you.
Yeah.
It was declared illegal in 1912, initially.
The internet says 1924.
Well,
1922, actually.
well, that's for you. I'm telling you, it was the first time was in 1912.
Okay.
And then they did that in 1922. But apparently there's many reasons why they say the thing had to be declared illegal. One of the things is that once people smoked a little bit, they didn't want to go and work for white people. They're like, hey, these people can do their own gardens. I also have a garden at home. Why must I go there?
A point of reasoning.
You know what I mean?
So it's a reasoning type of thing that we actually have here.
Well, kind of thing, you know.
It goes back to the joint. Oh God, the joke. It goes back to the joke we spoke about earlier of how the joke around why it was made illegal on some it sparks up some sort of logic new on why, like it makes me know so vola mabuza ukuthi leni yabo what does this do and why, you know.
And apparently kuphinze kushiwo ukuthi at the ages that people actually start smoking or that actually start to take this, I'll call it weed. People, when they actually start, it's between 10 and 19, right?
Yeah.
So don't you think, Kuti, it's actually in relevance to your awakening and your reasoning as a person? Like, how does now it comes with the logical part of it. What triggers that? Do you think people that don't use weed get to that level though?
No, you don't. Okay, you see, the thing is about weed. I think I have to get just slightly technical, a little bit.
It's fine.
So the thing about weed is weed has certain, I don't know what to call them, but it's called cannabinoids. There's loads of them. So now there's a theory that says, actually, when it comes to evolution, Darwin, because I think it's from England, it's so cold there and they don't have the best weed in the world. So his theory of evolution is just a little bit messed up because he says, people started as fish or whatever and they morphed into people, right? But apparently people started as weed. And they morphed into people. You know why they say that?
Plants.
Because you've got within you, you've got something called the
now.
Yeah, as a human being.
Okay.
You've got something known as the endocannabinoidal system, right?
Okay.
So which means...
School us, please, man.
Hey.
Yeah, so which means basically if I hit a joint, right, THC is going to... It gets, because of your system, there's endocannabinoids in your brain, there's endocannabinoids in your skin. You are it. So there's different types of cannabinoids. So the famous ones are the THC and CBD, right? True. So THC does something to your head.
Yeah.
You know, so it either is going to make you think more or think less.
It triggers something.
It triggers something because it goes within your head. There is something there, some receptors that it's going to go. It's like a key. I think the best way for me to explain that is like a key, a lock and key. Okay. So the thing just goes, this is Y12, goes into Y12, clicks it open. This is, so it's like if I extract cannabinoids now and turn them into oil. I extract cannabinoids using coconut oil, for instance. Okay. And I take that oil and rub it on my skin. Because I've got CBD cannabinoidal receptors on my skin, the cannabinoids are going to react with my skin. So you find that someone maybe ushile nje, and then you take that oil and you rub it on your skin. Then after a few days, that burn is gone because your skin is going to regenerate itself. It's
basically already, it's neutral and it's natural.
It's natural. It just goes straight into the system. So
I'm thinking about the significance of Emakano, where we are,
Hey.
and how the company Swazi Secrets has worked in creating more products from the Marula plant.
Natural
And
products, by
and
the
I'm
way.
thinking to myself, Swazi Secrets should actually expand. And,
Of course.
and even collaborate with
Collaborate,
with
definitely.
you,
because
I want to
that's
believe
a killer thing.
I want to
That
believe
combination.
it's killer because this on its own is a secret.
Yeah, true.
One of the world's best kept secrets.
Best kept secrets.
And mind you, I've seen the process of the marula extraction and everything, the oils and everything. This oil is 100%, and it is. There is no filtration whatsoever. And mind you, lemfula bayenda go batata I won't even say the produce, the product from like lamakano, the seeds, right?
The seeds.
And they literally press them down and they bring it back. So I think it's slightly almost similar situation with the weed.
It's well, not necessarily.
Okay.
You can get like oils like that, but if for instance you were to press the seeds, so this particular extraction that I'm talking about it's like you're extracting using either alcohol or oils, coconut oil or olive oil or any oil naturally it extracts any oil.
Okay.
Cooking oil, whatever. So if I were to take weed, decarboxylate it, that's a word for the day.
Hey.
Decarboxylate, which basically means okay.
Yes.
The thing with okay, if I were to take like a joint, for instance, you've got a cannabinoid there called THC-VA. All right. If you apply some heat to it, that cannabinoid changes from THC-VA to THC because it's got some heat in it now.
Okay.
So that process of the heat application is also known as decarboxylation.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So once you decarboxylate your weed, you put it in some container and you pour some oil in it. The oil is going to extract the cannabinoid. So if you take your olive oil, put the weed there, the olive oil is going to extract the cannabinoids. After a month or so, you're going to have a magical olive oil. So if you cook with it, if you put it on your salad, it's going to have the cannabinoids.
Hence the medicinal uses now come
it's
in.
medicinal straight up.
Okay, wait. Let's touch on something. We are hearing all of these medicinal uses. We're hearing about all of these. Now, with being a country that basically, I would say, not necessarily breeds, but is the epitome of such a beautiful plant. We have had the law. In fact, we've had people, the authority, trying to pass these laws. The first one was, you said, you corrected me on some 1912, right? And then now there was another one which was done in 2017, right?
Yeah.
And under Minister of Housing and Development.
No, under Minister of Health.
Under Minister of Health.
He's Minister of Housing, His Excellency Babe Piwangos. He the article that I'm reading now says,
Yes.
It's from the 10th of December 2015, where His Excellency raised
Call for the legalization.
call
Parliament.
for the legalization in Parliament.
Yeah.
But then now I'm sorry to disturb.
It's okay.
I have a question. It takes us back to the history.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have established that we have always been a weed smoking nation, and we have established its sacramental significance.
Yep.
Now, there are a lot of people in this country, known and unknown, who use this. The legalization thing, or the legalization subject, between lack of a better expression now, I'll say modern and traditional Eswatini. What are the dynamics there? Because and that on its own says you have been exposed to the plant.
Yeah.
He's dived deep into it
and
also.
you've dived deep in its understanding. And beyond this research, you understand it firsthand.
Yeah.
So walk us through that, because I want the whole point of UpFront is so that we can learn.
Okay.
True.
You understand?
Okay.
So I would love for anyone listening or watching now to have an idea, no matter how slight it is, of the state of things we know it's illegal, but what is the state of marijuana in our country?
In the country.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start.
Thank you for starting with that.
I'll start with this a bit of trivia.
Okay.
For me, one of the oldest form of protest, which is linked to weed, is something that I got from the warriors, showing Lindim. All right. So if you were to look at the age, if Lindim is what is known as Inyatsi right now. Okay. Before Inyatsi it was called Lindim. I don't know what Lindim was before that, because Lindim was named by King Sopuza. Okay. All right. So King Sopuza takes over in 1921. In 39, then there's the First World War. All right. So the thing about Lindim is from around that time, from the time of the Second World War.
Hence the name.
Yeah, okay. Because the other regiments, he took a regiment, Masocha. Those are the ones that went to the war, and then the other regiment, Kobang Lindim. And then yena unelakhe libufo lebalondolozi as well. Yes. Okay. So the two are left at home. So now the thing about Lindim, where I'm coming in, is that's where I first heard the first form of protest. So I'm not really sure when Lindim came about. So like I'm saying, it must be somewhere in the 30s.
Yeah.
So it's some kind of some ancient poetry.
Yeah.
People always hear this on the radio, or maybe they see it on TV, but maybe they don't really get the words. But here is the part that took me. The guy says, after a few paragraphs, he says, "Hey, buqil ben maphoyisa sibonile sibambile. Nisibopha ngabozangosi nize nisibophe nangama-nylon nithi sibhema insangu nisho ibhenywa ngini senibonile nize niyigqushela amakhikhini naze nayigqusha nasesigcokweni."
Where?
All right. So this is in the 30s. So you have to understand, in the 30s, the cops were white. So this is directed straight at the white cops.
Okay.
You guys are arresting us. You're saying we're smoking weed, but we've seen that you guys also smoke.
You do it.
Yeah. You have even, it's all in your uniform. You even stuff it in your heads, So that's the first known.
I took a different take from that. I took it as by Bemaga Kulu.
No. That's what the guys are saying. Like, ni kusha in your pockets.
Where?
Like, literally. That's what they used to do. Like,
keep us so that
when you want to roll, you just remove your hat,
Every
take out
day
your longo, rock it, and hit it. So, I mean, you can see that thing between the so-called traditional authority and the Western authority. It's been going on since way back then.
Since way, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I'm even tempted to say the reason why we smoke so much as a country is because of the traditional authority. Because they said, "Oh no, we are it's on now." These guys, we know what you guys are saying, but hence the protest.
Okay,
So I mean, for a long time, people would say, as a way of just protest, if maybe your cops find you or something, you'll say, "Oh no, what are you doing with these trees?" Like, "Oh no, these trees belong to the king." You know what I mean? Because he offered that protection for that particular plant because of its sacredness to the people. So there's a lot of such things that Westerners would say these things are backwards or something, like being like Zionist, for instance, like Zion. Zion, the British said this can't be true Christianity. This thing has to be banned.
Oh wow!
And King Sopuza said, no. Those are my peeps. I want them here every Easter. I want to spend Easter with them. That's how we have those Easter services as they are. But the white people were like, no. This thing, we need Anglicans and Roman Catholics in this country. And we're like, no. These are my
Nasiphi
people. Bring them over here, you know. So there's always been that thing, that clash between the traditional authority and the Westerners. It's always been there.
Okay.
You know, so it just kept on going on. So if these guys are banning it in 1912, and it's not the only thing that they banned, really. They banned weed. They tried to outlaw our cattle. You know,
that's new.
Danguni. You know, they said, no, these are whack breeds.
Yeah.
Let's bring in like
The superior ones.
the superior ones, Brahmans and what. So they try to outbreed. So I'm giving you guys a hint.
history lesson.
Yeah.
Try and get Mrs. Umga Makoban, Mrs. Riley.
Okay.
Yes.
That lady is responsible single-handedly for protecting the Nguni as a breed.
Are you serious?
Because a lot of people see our cows here and say, oh, this is a Nguni. No. You haven't seen the real deal. You know, a thing that can survive hardcore droughts. What doesn't get easily sick, that animal, you know, because it's indigenous to this part. So those little things that, you know, these guys are saying, now these guys are saying, oh, it's medicinal. Our traditional healers have been saying it's medicinal since
centuries.
Besides, bayayisebenzisa
it's like KFC, Colonel Sanders, secret herbs and spices. That's a secret herb, Always say, okay, a bit of weed, it will help you sleep. It will blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of things about it. But because of, I'll get arrested, this is going to happen to me. We find that now they pull back with their information. But it's part of our science as well, of our psyche, of our medicine, of a lot of things.
And I think it's, I won't necessarily say it's a bad thing, but somehow someone is using it as we speak.
Yes.
Not here, but somehow there is a great deal that somehow. Because most people, one thing that I figured out within the country, traditional people use it. Most people have used it for asthmatic. Exactly. Yeah. So with that being like
that's how actually I got introduced to it.
Really?
My beloved mother, because I'm asthmatic, so she went out of her way. She got a few, boiled it, had to drink it. I did for a while until I started smoking myself. That's when I lost it. So. You know, because it doesn't work as well if you smoke it for your asthma. But if you drink it or take it as an oil or something, then that's where it works for the asthma.
But then with the potency of it, apparently that should be another thing that you should look at, the dosage of it.
The dosage. I mean, for instance, I used to, when I drank it, I wasn't really aware of the dosage. So I used to boil it and then drink like half a cup out for a few hours, you know. And then I figured, this thing won't work because it makes me sleep and things. Ganzi, I was drinking it wrong. You know, the dosage was way too high. Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's where it comes from.
Yeah. So, man, that's that. But back to what you're saying, there's a nice little story that we got to realize as part of Umjono, that I'm going back to the land race thing. Right now, sadly, in this country, we don't have that land race anymore in its purest form
or strain
because of cross-pollination. Okay. So what happened is the Swazi gold used to take 6 months to mature, right? And then some people from Europe and wherever were like, oh no, I was about to give you guys these strains that are ready in 3 months. So naturally, the 3 months strain would cross-pollinate with the 6 month strain. And besides, the growers would be like, why should I grow something that's going to be ready in 6 months?
There's never been a Russian Eswatini.
Something that's going to be ready in 3 months. You know, and that way I make money, you know, like 2 times more than I would in a year. So that's the thing. Just might as well. So that whole Swazi gold then just kind of like fizzled out. So now you find that if someone has a lower quality, you know, because of the cross-pollination or whatever, then they'll say, Siswati, Manenge, Siswati, you know, Kanzi, it's not even Swazi, you know.
Okay. Yes. Now, I want to, like, from what he's just said, like, hearing the knowledge that he actually has, I do not want to restrict him to only speaking about weed, but the amazing man, as Sis has actually introduced him before, as to how this man comes about. He has played a large role for people, like, we actually touched on this, how he had been associate producer, right?
Yeah,
exactly. But not only with just Ekhaya series, also Swazi TV. Now, with you've been in the country. You know the tradition, you've been through the modern, and you have experienced Eswatini and Swaziland as a whole. Now, with that type of basis, now seeing Ekhaya as a production, and when you started Swazi TV, what's your take on the evolution of creativity or the creative industry within Ekhaya?
I think so I've
experience.
had the opportunity of presenting a few shows on Eswatini TV. Myself, I started out with a show, one that I can remember is called Youth and AIDS. I used to present a show on AIDS when it wasn't really like a big deal.
Okay.
It was it had a lot of stigma around it, so we're trying to destigmatize it.
Okay.
I've presented a live show, a phone-in kind of show. So,
Come on, Pop McBain.
Hey!
Come along.
on TV. So the thing, if you work with Swazi TV back in the day, you get to do a lot of things. So if you're not just a presenter, sometimes you're forced to write a script, also produce and show.
You become versatile.
Sometimes have to handle the camera because the designated cameraman had it's Makano season. So you went to plane and they gave this guys 25 liters or maybe 3. So he's had a few liters like, Solotja, that's the camera. Well, here's my chance. You
Might
know,
as well just take it.
just might as well. So I had that experience with TV. So by the time I was at university, I had a few shows on TV, like I'm saying. So I'd moved towards that
the production.
production
Okay.
dimension, right? So after university, just purely because I was already in the industry,
Okay.
right? So naturally, I just moved towards that that part. But luckily, I also got introduced to music.
Yeah.
All right.
Which is where I actually want you.
Yeah. So I got introduced into music initially through a dear friend of mine called him Tumseni Smelane, known to the nation as DJ Didi Cool 604 39 39.
Wow, I did not know that part.
So
Too young for me.
so 39 had a rap group called Vamoose. Vamoose was huge, man. It came after there was a void in the market because it came after XY Chromosomes. So
Heard about them.
So Vamoose was huge. They had an album art, the performing. So Mtumseni was a connect of mine. So I used to go to shows and things like this. So I had that thing about, just being behind the scenes. Putting a show together. This and that. And then after Didi Cool, I met another DJ friend of mine called DJ Snoop.
Yeah, I'll see Snoop.
Now, when I met Snoop, he used to be a DJ that used to play everything, like a typical party DJ.
Okay.
He'd play everything, Kwaito, R&B, what. And then, I don't know how we actually moved into the house, But then we decided, there's so many people that are playing, because, this is how we did it. We got Bo Christos la and Vini to come and play. So they played. I remember this one time we had them over for Christmas, right? One was playing on Christmas Day. The other one would play on Boxing Day.
Okay.
I think Vinny played on the Christmas. And Vinny, if you know Vinny's music, it's very laid back.
Yeah.
True.
It was one of those things.
Yes.
But he played,
Shout
the
out
music
to him.
was blissful, man. It was heavenly sounds. And then the following night, Christos comes in, he hits it with the house, and then we're not doing like a post-analysis with Snoop. We realized that, hey man, you also have vinyls, my man. You also have the music. Why must we deprive the nation of this
such
glorious music and wait for the South Africans to come and play such music if we can also play it? You know what I mean? So in that way, Snoopy's like, yeah, no, that's true, man. So now he's moving towards just playing strictly house.
Okay.
So he moved from playing everything. He's
yeah.
just concentrating on the house. So we got another DJ to just open up. Yabo. So we had a guy called Cold Crash V. Well, he's old school.
We shall.
Cold Crash V won the Everlast. So he initially, Cold Crash started playing R&B, hip hop, and then he also moved into house. But he moved into deep house. You know. So from that, we then realized that this house thing is happening. So got another connect of mine. The great Mabongza the great, actually. But people call him DJ Mabongza, even though he didn't want to be called DJ Mabongza. May his soul rest in peace. So Mabongza would play like old school or funky house, or So before we knew it, we're just like deep into the house.
You're
so
already within the spectrum.
We just host a party and say we're playing house. We don't,
A house
Who
party.
catered for the hip hop kids?
anyone can play hip hop or what. So we're like, no, let's just deal with the house. So what I'm trying to say is that I've also been like truly
You've been a creative.
with the house to say, guys, let's just play house. You know what I mean?
Actually,
so we moved to that, then got into the music, people singing, organizing a few shows to say, there's so much talent in the country. How about we also have something for musicians? Now I've worked with so many musicians in the country. I
was introduced to you
the list
through like I said earlier, through Lucian and Tibo.
Yeah.
And before I met you in person, that quoted some things you would say in conversation. Now, this is just to affirm that you have had an impact.
Yeah,
and a
true.
great one.
True.
Here's the thing. There's something I saw on YouTube recently. I forgot what this thing is called, but it's done at the J&B Hive in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So what this lady does is she says we need to give our legends their flowers while they're still alive.
Amen to that.
And this is a call to action to everyone that's listening to this, because I tell my own mentor all the time, and I've made it a habit not to text it to him because it doesn't respond, and then it hurts my feelings. But I've made it a habit to remind the people that have played a great role in my life, because you've had such a great impact in the lives of people, in the lives of I haven't worked with you, and
no, personally, I'm talking about my own personal experience.
In the lives of Lucian, who Lucian was my first, was the first person to give me an opportunity to do work. I wouldn't have met the people that I've worked with hadn't I met him. He wouldn't have acquired certain information and knowledge and wisdom hadn't he crossed paths with you. So now looking at the state of things today, and especially reflecting on the successful premiere and first season of Ekhaya, what do we need to do now? Collectively,
moving forward.
We were having a conversation about how I was reading the Copyright Act, earlier on. So many things are changing, so many things are evolving. And what do you think, especially during this era? What is it that you think collectively we can do, Nyalo? Take the work that you and do and everyone else, because there's also years later there's other things that happened in between, that have led to the moment that we have found ourselves at. So what is it that we can do collectively in your thinking that can help us grow even further? Because in your working with Sands, let me make an example. In your working with Sands, you guys, Sands is like one of the people that I know from this country who has done
credited on his first album.
Every festival that any Swazi artist wants to perform at, which then motivates the promoter in Swaziland who travels and see these festivals. We're good, let us build festivals. We had 3 festivals come up last year, actually 4.
Okay.
GLF came through, Green Lifestyle, Stephen
Yes.
and team at Geetsy Music. We've had Homebrew happen last year, True Sounds, the DJ Mix Mash, and then we had Noja in Pig Speak.
Yeah.
You know, the festival, I'll say ecosystem, the events ecosystem is growing. And what have you learned? That's question 2. What have you learned in your being on the road with Sands in the past that you believe, you know, if we try to introduce these things and work together at this, we could probably achieve X, Y, and Z.
All right, let me start with, because I've got so many things to say. So you find that some of the things I've left out. For instance, I haven't said anything about how I was part of a company called Savusa Pictures.
Yes.
All right. So Savusa Pictures is from like 2002. The reason why we decided to do something like Savusa Pictures was Mosaic had just released that body of work. They did Wachelwang Ban, you know, Society, that thing, right? And then Konza had his first EP out. So we're there with some guys like, okay, now we've done the music. The music is ready now. So now we need music videos, right? So, which is where we get in because we've got a production company. Let's approach these guys and do a music video for them. Okay. So we did Tulum Sinvo for Konza, and on top, we just matched that. And then some guys like, I've also had this other kid called Courtesy. Perhaps we should also do a video for him. So we did Love of Hip Hop for Courtesy, that video, you know, because we're saying we've got that presence on the radio, but there's no presence on the TV, on Channel O and things like this. So now we're doing that video, yabo. So from there, I got to work with Nana Makakula. So for me, that's the thing. I was her roadie. Yeah. So Nana had she did a whole Sadak tour. It's not like doing Josie only. So this is Zimbabwe, the whole Sadak thing, right? So from there, once you get exposed to like those kind of festivals, and like that whole international thing. I mean, you get to, and it's like a school. You just thrown straight into the deep end, and now you're learning certain things about
hands-on
etiquette and things like this. I remember one time we went in Zimbabwe with Nana, and they wanted her to sing when these people were eating, you know. Now Nana's like, oh no, I can't sing when people are eating. I want them to finish and then I'll perform, you know.
All attention on me.
You know what I mean? Only to find that these people, the reason why they wanted to perform when they were eating is because the program had changed. They didn't bother to tell us that the program had changed. So immediately after the eating, then that was it. You know. But initially the program that they'd given us earlier had said that we're going to perform after the thing.
Dinner, yeah.
So now, after the thing want to perform, now people want to leave.
Hey.
You know. So now there's a problem. Now there's like, oh no, we can't pay you because you didn't perform at the time. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. Now we have to beg these people, come with the Swazi style, Shwila dance, that kind of vibe, soften them a bit, and then eventually perform, and then, you know, only to find that, no, the people are actually going to hang around. That the person that wanted to leave was just one person, so wanted to kill the whole vibe. But people did stay, and we had a
great
show. But now, there you learn that when someone says play at this time, you play at that damn time. You don't, you know what I mean? So, you get to learn a lot of things once you have that kind of exposure. You will learn about certain things like, oh, there's something called a rehearsal.
Okay.
There's something called sound check. There is something called, you know what I mean? Lagangwane, you've got a show on Saturday at 3. You're rocking up at 3.
You must learn.
You haven't sound checked. There's no call time.
Yeah. People take notes.
There is no hospitality. There is, you know, it's like the artist is there, but Njay is like the furniture or something. You know what I mean? So we still need to learn a lot, just as not just necessarily as artists, but the entire industry.
Okay.
To make people understand that, I mean, if you're booking someone, what does it mean?
Okay.
You also have to be prepared for this person.
True.
You know, I can't come here and say, sorry, Mr. Mabuza, where's our holding room? And like, hey, niyapapa niyahlupa nini so ufuna holding room yakwendani anime mani Lusolotja mani nine say uyachoza nje kabili kathathu senidemanda thini wasicela mani nayi intombi hawu you know what I mean? I remember one time we had a show at a place that I can't actually mention, and one of the guys that was supposed to be handling us is also an artist, but we are sebenda in this particular area.
Okay.
So in this hall that we're at, this guy decides the place wasn't full, right? Decided to go skipper. Awusimisa ngaphandle. Uyabanza.
What else is new?
Winter time. You know what I mean? Kunavela emseni, kunasanziso. I mean, two of the best vocalists uyobabulalisa ngemkhuhlane la. You know, because you know that's a no. I would expect since this guy is an artist, he is the one that say, oh no guys, here's your table.
He should know the standards.
He should know the 411. No. Ngahlanyi, hambani ngaphandle. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. But anyway, back to your question. So going around, it exposes you to, like I said, etiquette, and also now just being professional. To say, if you've got a call time, you make it 15-30 minutes before, you know, so that even for you guys, so that you know the place, the restrooms at this side. Okay, this is how the stage is laid out. Okay, this, you know what I mean? Because if you just want to go there and play,
you're gonna have
there's a lot of hogwash you're going to do on that stage because you're not comfortable nje kwasanini nje. Uyabona that thing. So, you know, but get back to your thing, there's a lot of growth that has happened in the country over the years. Apart from the fact that people used to go to SA to record and things like that. Now we've got a lot of producers in
within
the country.
the space, yeah, true.
So we need to empower those guys so that if there's a guy that makes beats, you know, let's make sure we'd see Emma beats okay, he's got all that he needs. Emma plugins or whatever you call those things. So that le laptop yakhe ingehluki kakhulu kuneya Reason or Yasbanban who is in SA or what. So that if it's time to play with those beats, you're able to play on that level. You know what I mean?
Basically, reach your full potential.
Yes,
while in the place.
You've got you're producing music, and you've got your laptop is like 4 gigs of RAM. It's slower than the tortoise. It freezes every day. It crashes.
I hope NKO is watching.
You know, so you can't work like that. You know, so those little things, and that. What I don't understand, this I don't understand because, you know, I'm not part of corporate Swaziland. But most of these gigs that we'd go to, we'd find a lot of corporate Swazis there. You know, and you think, this is the joy of jazz. And this guy is here. What does he think this is? Did he think this thing just grew here magically?
No.
Or something?
I think
how come you don't want to strive for this same excellence? Once a gig is in your country, now you want to do the thing yourself. You know, you can't do that. You can't organize a gig. Pela when you're a CEO, you should be busy with mathematics. Make sure that the books balance, people are happy. You know, but when it comes to an event, get the professionals to do it. Because they are the ones that are going to know about a green room, about a hospitality. And because they know the 411. You know, you can't. I mean, we used to struggle to say. I'll make an example with Sands, right? So, how's some hospitality? Like, no. So if Sands goes to the bar
and starts drinking and then
no, we're not going to drink. We just want water. They say no, go and get water there at the bar.
Yeah.
People with selfies. and stories from primary school and what.
And that
And
messes
when I
me
say what now you are messing up this guy.
The energy and the vibes.
And by the time he goes on stage,
he's now like,
So there's a lot of growth that is needed outside the, just from the performers,
in the support
systems.
Okay.
So now back to the thing about Ekhaya. Ekhaya, people are like, oh, Ekhaya is brilliant. It's beautiful. But I mean, if you look at the brains behind Ekhaya was produced by Welile Masuku, the best in the business. She is the best writer. All right. She is the best producer. I fail to speak about Samge, the director. I mean, because sometimes I say it's like you are working with the Almighty.
It's right there.
It's like he's done. His street cred is so crazy. It's amazing. So I'll make an example, something about Ekhaya. So some guy calls me. We needed a costume for the judge. Like the opening scene, right? So some guy calls me. It's like, hey, we need. Okay, first of all, we needed a courtroom, straight up courtroom, right? So tried. Then we got the courtroom, right? And then now we needed to get a gown. So they said this is a murder trial. What? So initially we just thought the judge is going to wear something black, a bit of a wig, and voila, you have a judge.
The stereotype of it, yeah.
And then when we were doing our research, they're like, no. For that kind of case, you need the red gown, and it's a specific gown. So long story short, we needed to get the gown.
Yeah.
So some guy calls me. The director calls me. It's like, "Ekhaya Luso, man. Ekhaya, brah, I need that gown, man." I'm like, "Hey, sir, I've tried, man. It's very difficult." It's like, "Ekhaya, I think you don't get it. I need the gown. It's in the opening scene. It has to be there, bruh. I mean, come on, you mean to tell me you can't get a little gown for a judge, bruh? Come on, man. So you're losing it, man."
Let me think. That ruined your reputation, hey?
Yeah. So I thought, let me make some magic. Luckily, I called 1 or 2 people. Voila. I was sworn to secrecy. Gown. And if I may say something, when we're shooting, so our actress, the judge, we took a break, so she's stepping aside for a cup of water or something, and because she's in full regalia, some cops come through and then they salute.
They do the whole
and then she was shocked, like, what the heck, what's going on? And by the time she's like, oh no, they think it's a real guy, it's a real guy. But there she went, she had those cops, that's what it was about. So, there's a lot of things in another country that actually make the gown.
Ganti.
You know what I mean? They actually build the courtroom. That is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we can't have money to pay actors and actresses, now you want to build a courtroom.
Hey,
but it's crazy that.
Yeah.
But yet we also want to be seen to be doing something. There's no support for it. You know what I mean? If you want guys like C's and his, because I know he's got a band, Sessionist.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a guy called Fana Zulu?
Dog.
Dog.
Your reaction?
He plays bass. He's the one.
Touched your soul.
He's like a god, that guy. He is a sessionist. He plays. He just plays bass. But if you ask Fana to come and play for you,
it's a different story.
Everything changes. The reason why the thing is like that is that's what he does. He plays bass. He wakes up, he has his cereal, then he takes his bass and he plays it. Next thing it's lunch. He has his meal, he takes his bass and he plays it. And then someone calls at 8 and says, "Hey, find a house up at the session." He goes there and he kills it. Why? Because he plays his guitar.
Practice makes perfect.
We want you to act like, do this. You play that guitar, man. Just, you can't. It's level. It's level. You can't expect a guy that plays a guitar. Like, there's a guy that I normally make an example of. Moso Vlagat.
I love.
Moso, that's the one artist that I've met in Swaziland that, you know, he takes his craft so seriously. You know, and he's got certain things, you know, he researches about guitar players. Oh, you know, Jimi Hendrix used to go to a bar with his guitar. You know, he'd go into M4. No, he's not going to play. Sorry. He's got some ladies entertaining them. And then while he's waiting for his shooters there, takes his guitar and is just playing. As he's charming the lady, he's playing some chords. We are born. Just because he wants his fingers to, and you never know what that is going to do to you eventually.
True,
so you have to always, you know, I met a guy a few years ago. He was from France, cadets of the Alliance, Francaise. So
okay.
the guy used to play tablas, just like mabongo, but they're from India style. Khalid Hohen, all right. So he comes here the first night. He obviously is jet lagged, all right. The second, his first official day, you know, they've organized a tour. You know, the touristy thing. And when he came back, Lusolotja, I want my babies, you know. My hands are itching. I need, you know, the guy told me something. It was the first time I heard. He's like, when you're an artist, you have to play at least 2 hours every day, at least 2 hours on your own. 2 hours.
In Kumbutam, Taribo, Stanganiso. Santos was drummer now. Yeah. So Taribo came up with the challenge for us musicians. I recently took it up because when they came up with it, I was a bit busy, so I could spare an hour, but I wasn't going to be consistent. So they called it 60-day challenge. So to every artist, musician who's listening to this in closing, so what Luso is saying is directly in line with that. I can relate to what you're saying because Taribo said, what would happen if you spent 60 days focusing on your craft for at least 60 minutes.
Ooh.
And he was basically, it was a call to action to musicians and some gents, ladies, let's put in the work for 60 days, at least 60 minutes per day. And let's see
what happens
if we won't mess the game up. Because we, as you're saying, there's been a lot of improvement and there's a lot to improve.
Yeah.
Our biggest advantage is that we do not have formal settings where people can go and get educated about things, which opens us up now to an opportunity to learn things in a custom way, not the default setup. So that on its own means us having to work harder than other people. So I agree with that, and what she said now says to me I must go back home and check.
Because by the way, I really want to say this. There is the music laboratory at Eswatini Theatre Club. They actually have the perfect sound system. They have a rig. So if people actually want to practice, there's a membership and it's for free. So should people actually want to use up that space, I think it's still open right now.
It is, yeah.
So if people actually want to use that space, they can actually practice, and there's some technicians who are actually there to help out. So you have the full-on experience of everything.
All right. With that being said, Baba Ginindza,
a kid in a candy store.
I know how excited she is about today, and thank you very much for honoring the invite. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me, people. It was a blast.
By the way, is this your first interview?
Here?
No, not here, but in general, about you outside of work.
I've done an interview on Jalele on hip hop.
Oh, okay.
They beat me to it.
Yeah, just on hip hop because
they beat me to it.
My roots in the hip hop sector. I don't. But
they run deep.
They run really deep.
No, but thank you so much for honoring us, man. And the history lesson for me was mind blowing. The history lesson for me was mind blowing. I think one thing, you are a national treasure.
Exactly.
And you are one of the few individuals, and I hope the number rises as time goes on, that we need to protect, because ngini labo mkhulu lokufuna ukuthi kufundwe in 20 years time.
True.
And we, the young boys and young girls who have access to you and other people like you, can use this time and the next couple of years to learn as much as we can, because the information that you shared is there's not even a tenth of what you're carrying.
Yeah.
But
And ngoba sifunile.
yeah, but like I'm opening 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tabs, and none of these carry the information that you came up with.
Exactly.
You know. So thank you very much, man. Thank you so much. I hope we can make more stoner content.
Yeah. Hey.
I hope we can make more stoner content.
Shout out to DTtv.
But from me and mainstream, thank you so much for listening. May the Lord keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you. I haven't been in church in a while.
Namaste.
Amen.
Namaste. Oh,
Thank you.